real boon to their tallies, but you can see players are getting back up thick and fast. We've had quite a few elims coming on through already. But for now, everybody, yeah, you could just see the recalls pouring onto the tables. Gen G, the only team to have stuck with 3 for the time being, but they're right on top of a recall beacon, and that one's coming in 3, 2, 1. No, not quite. Okay. They haven't managed to hop out of the vehicle just yet, but they are going for it. All the way down south near Lampo, and there it goes. Satan's back in the mix. Still sticking onto Neox Factory, onto the rooftops. Doc doesn't want to give up the ghost just yet. There's that recall beacon right in the middle of things, but that's much more dangerous than the rest of them.
I mean, for Alpha Gaming, this is a very different approach that they're taking at the moment. It makes things very messy for Inner Circle as well, where they thought they would be taking the fight purely with the Falcons. Alpha Gaming getting involved on this does create a slight problem. This should be an easy shot to make for Doc at least, and he will pick up the first knock there and the flush off the back of it. And now Noki's locked in. Right, it's very hard for him to move from that location, and this nade looks pretty decent.
Oh, does get repositioned away from though. Noki maybe looking for loot, maybe spotted it coming. We'll never know. Either way, doesn't take damage from it. Adding a 6th elim, well, that would be pretty great. You'd love to see it. And they can control that recall as well, which means they can get their player back in nice and early, nice and quickly. Right on top of them as well. The EMP zone flaring out in the meantime. Over towards Wolves. This is on the sort of south side of the center of this circle. With the EMP coming on in. It is not ideal to be in there. It's not the end of the world, but can cause some uncomfortable situations like we saw yesterday, Blank, with the EMP forcing a fight where maybe it wasn't necessary.
Yeah. It's nice to see Coops on the Abacam as well. That thing is absolute laser beam at the moment. Don't get to see a lot of players who are on board though. Hyper Supermassive. There's a lot of hope for this team, but it's coming a little too late on their side of things right now at 78 points. I think regardless though from yesterday's performance, especially Kamikaze, they have proven themselves once again to be quite a strong squad overall. So I think most fans of this team can be quite happy. Again, I imagine last chance is going to be very difficult for them, but it doesn't look hopeless going into it.
It's a glimmer, maybe, of hope. There are still qualification spots, and someone has to qualify from that last chance stage, right? At least one team is going to get there. Hopefully more. Circle pops in as the EMP zone fades on the fight. Gen G on the east side, but it's Goat in the middle there. D+ as well now moving in on that north edge, moving down from Stadium, seeing what they can find. It's now when teams are going to start to get stuck into situations where they can't go for these recalls. And I'm surprised that Inner Circle hasn't dropped that recall just yet. And in fact, have headed all the way out west to go for it. They are now starting to get it on board, but for Tiamba, they might not be able to be quite as accessible to it.
Yeah, it's a pretty unnecessary fight coming through from Inner Circle over on that eastern side, and especially with things being thrown into the mix, especially in Neox Factory around Test Track. That is a very tumultuous area of the map where anything can happen. You're kind of concerned about Inner Circle continuing to drop there, especially on top of Falcons. There's plenty of other positions that are playable, and I think Inner Circle does thrive towards those end games, so why risk the full 4-man squad wipe at the beginning of the game? It's a little bit confusing.
Yeah, it's not favourable, but not Valo. I mean, we know what he likes to do on his own in a single building, right? There's no way you get him in there. You need at least 5 players, I'm pretty sure, to be able to take him down like that. Just the one's not going to cut it. No mustard was cut. Gen G against Papa Supermassive, who have had some stellar plays, but still in the middle of those tables, they want to try and breach forwards. A little assist coming on through, and a lovely shot around the corner for Nico. They're finding more. Can't vault out there. I think there's an off angle to deal with, and a teammate to get rezzed up, because GS are taking shots. They've got a lot of angles on this surround, so you need to be careful.
GS looked like a pretty tough team in terms of qualification. Like, they didn't look like they were getting anywhere close to it. I think the past couple of days, I think they've really improved like a lot. So I think no matter what happens to GS here, they're going to be proud of the performance. They still have a little ways to go to get out from that bottom 5. Loops is definitely in danger, as is 9ZG. I think Falcons is slightly more safe, but if they continue on this trajectory where, you know, the 4v4s are just not great, even the 1v1s aren't great from the Falcons at the moment, then it's likely to go downhill. Nice shot from Lost, but now he's just providing information from on top of the rooftop.
The rest of Papa Supermassive not really in a place to assist right now, nowhere near. And they do need to just keep themselves going. I mean, Lost, they might be Resable here. If Nico drops another smoke, keeps the cover going. But perhaps you just want to keep your wits about you. That nade doesn't even find it. Ooh, right in the smoke. Maybe they think they've cleared that corner. Drops another one around the edge. That does tag damage, so they know that they're in that courtyard. The reses have come through from GS as well. It should be just finishing on the res, but it's not going to be Nico to face them now. On a sliver of HP, it's just Lost, and he will not find it. You can see them on the east side there, just completely separated from Trompy and Kamikaze. They were isolated out to that west, and GS, well, they launch at that opportunity, but they get the recall for Papa Supermassive very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the entire time, they've been sending out to a close-by recall position to get the rest of the players back up again. But for GS, well done. Very, very well done. That's versus a very, very difficult team to play against. And getting that full squad wipe is great. You know, taking the information gain that they grabbed off of those nades and then easily determining where the players are, even pre-spraying the smoke as well. I really enjoyed that fight. I think that was very nice from GS.
Well orchestrated. Gen G trying to orchestrate their approach, but the Wolves have been outposted here for quite a while, Blank. They're fairly firmly entrenched. Teams starting to have their hopes of getting recalls dwindle right now. And that's probably most brutal for both Tianba and for the Falcons, right? One player alive. Falcons very, very central with their last player. But that's where they like to be. The analyst was talking about it before. Tiamba, though, a little bit more out in the open as Narvalo has the nades. Let's see what he can do in this shack.
It is interesting looking at the way that Alter Ego and Alpha Gaming are currently playing at the moment. Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
Okay, that's a horrendous spray down over towards Inner Circle. I think two players are res, but it depends on if someone wants to crash them or not. Either way, what I was saying about Alpha Gaming and Alter Ego is they're both playing very slow on the outside edge. And this sort of makes sense to me because realistically, Rondo is one of the best trampolines when it comes to accelerating your point scoring at the start of the day. And a lot of times that can be the make or break between getting in towards a top spot. Now, for Alter Ego and Alpha Gaming, what they're more concerned with this game is basically keeping other teams down. Right, so they're playing very much on the outside edge. They're not looking for central positions. They just want to make this game as scarce as possible for other squads. They don't want to get too aggressive here. They're just looking to injure, to cause casualties and slow this game down to a crawl, which makes complete sense to me.
Ooh, Inner Circle really suffering here. Reject have great angles towards them. They're just getting knocked and re-knocked repeatedly. And they're chasing for that third place bubble, Blank. I mean, look at the score lines right now. You got third place at 97. They're on 91 right now. They earned 5 points right at the start of the match. They were feeling themselves, but they're really crunched in here. It is nasty on that western side. A lot of teams very, very close by to one another. A little bit more free and easy on that eastern side, but still no walk in the park. The Circle keeps that crunch in the middle too, and Reject are going to further commit down towards that area. As players starting to fall out now, recalls become almost impossible for most of our teams at this stage. APG wanting to get Ziol back up. They are staying completely together here, but Gen G going to try and split them up. Quick, up onto the tree. Dami on the high ground. A lovely nade comes through from Refus. It finds him around the trunk of the tree. There is a trade still, and Ziol is flushed. But can there be retribution? Can APG find their feet here and stay up in that first place spot? Because Satan's already found Doc. Wolves might chime in as well. Look at that flex out.
Slightly whiff nade there coming through from Refus. Reject with Regiosio will pick up one of those elims. Looks like Alpha Gaming is more than likely to go down here on the outside edge on the south side. Again, you're just trying to make sure this game is as stagnant as possible. And for teams that really want to climb up, they're likely looking for a central position anyway. So you are just gifting points across the teams that aren't really all that influential on the lobby. I mean, the Wolves are currently on 79 points, but these eliminations are getting passed around very equally right now. It's a much slower rondo than what we're used to. But again, I think at an international lobby, this makes a lot of sense. And I wouldn't be surprised seeing this type of meta start to develop in personal regions, right? You know, where on that final day, rondos are a lot quieter because you don't want to be giving away those massive chicken dinner games.
I mean, yeah, we saw yesterday as well a lot of big starts and then not going too much further. There were a lot of 8-9 elimination teams that were down early into the game, right? That were completely flushed out. And seems like this time around, as you say, it's kind of level pegging for a lot of these teams. APG, the major profiteers right now on this game with 6 elims, but that will be changing as teams continue to move on forwards. Inner Circle have managed to patch themselves back up, Blank. In the meantime, whilst all of that chaos unfolded on the south side circle, they've patched themselves up to 3 players alive. They've got control of their building. Reject flexed a little bit further away, and now they're regrouping out, which has alleviated some of that pressure. In the meantime, though, Alter Ego fighting for the podium spot with D+, Blank.
Yeah, who have now passed GOAT as well. Third place for D+. Now looking to go a little bit further. Nolbu with nade outside. A lot of damage over towards Krypton. Goes extremely low. Snape looks to cut the corner, but it's not meant to be, as Nolbu will make the big run out. Finds 2, but loops are coming.
They're right over the hill, and they will ride straight into the fight here, Blank. D+ now gonna have a tough time defending on 2 fronts, but with just Snape remaining, they may have handled Alter Ego fast enough. He will be a fly in the ointment to the hold against Loops. And that's the shot that they were looking for, the opener towards D+. Snape will fall, so Alter Ego in second place will go down. D+, 1 point behind them now. In just 1 elimination, they could draw neck and neck. We'll see if they're able to do it. Loops may be the team to deliver them that point that they need. They're very isolated from everybody else on this northern side.
Osal will bleed out there. So it's a 2v4. Chips got a huge amount of work done yesterday. Now looking to go even further for D+ and secure that position in second place. It's been a big rise from D+ over the last few days. In the meantime, Wolves are looking a little bit slicker today, though I will wait and see because anything can happen with that team. We've seen them go from strength to very low lows. For the Wolves, not convinced yet.
Ooh, a couple of shots coming on through. Look at that picture-in-picture. Wolves having a tough time against Team Secret. Okay, that's not the team I thought I would be saying there in that sentence. But they've still got a Wolf on the prowl on that picture-in-picture. I'm taking a look at it. Looks like they will be able to do so much work on the top side. They take down Team Secret, but in come OG on that fight. The Wolves are flushed away. In the meantime, we're back on board now with the main picture here with Luke. And they are still going head-to-head, toe-to-toe. Blow for blow with D+, as the nade pushes Fabian out the back. Chips is still on the inside. Raptor Boy looks for the challenge, but he will not be able to find it. Step into the blue too long. You're going to go down. The point that they need is right there. Will he step out? Will he get too bold with it? No, but he's going to launch over the top. Blank. They're up into second place over Alter Ego. Can they keep it going?
I mean, this is incredible. The fact that these 2 players make it happen. Fabian has been in the scene for a very long time, and he knows how to keep his nerve here. Luke's final player up the stairs. Chips looking to finish him off. We'll just have to ascend this one. Noise in the corner. I will get it done. A 2v4 from D+ to secure second place is insane.
How much further can they go? There's not too many people on this northern side. They don't have the meds. I'd be surprised if they even make it out of this blue zone, Blank. I feel like for Chips, he's just trying to find a first aid right now to heal himself in, because there is a long way to go. There's about 200 to 300 meters to dash across, and that's if he makes a beeline with no caution thrown towards cover. This is nasty for D+, but they've got 9 elims already, Blank. And this, as you said before, is a great result to get up into second place, away from GOAT, away from Inner Circle. Inner Circle quite likely to go a lot further, though, so it could still be a worry.
Jumbo backpack, pick it up, put it on. Right now, thank you.
Oh, okay, that's not going to last too long, though.
That's a clutch jumbo backpack.
For sure.
I love it when he's going for the first take and he's like, wait. That's actually going to save. That's fine. That's good. Okay, so Gemma Pack will get D plus even further into this match. All right, I love to see it. Apparently, we saw a cover flare not come through, which I can only imagine came from around this area. Not sure if it was from OG or the Wolves or Team Secret, but either way, cool to see in an international tournament someone getting crushed by the mighty Dorito. For OG, they cleared out rejects. It's good, right? 13th place, but 7 elims at the start of the day here is very, very nice for OG. It looks better. I think the most concerning thing is that Wolves were losing the fight to Team Secret. And I think it's fair to say that Team Secret has the worst firepower in the lobby right now. So that is definitely concerning for Wolves. They did hold a stronger position than them and they were pushing into, but since everyone else that Team Secret has played against they've just fallen over. It is concerning for Wolves.
It's not ideal. They did get a couple of points on this match. They did get 7 elims blank, so it's not all doom and gloom for them, but they did want to stay stronger into that fight. With OG rolling in, though, I mean, it's a pretty tough task. OG isolated on the outside. A team that is definitely not isolated on the outside, though, is Papra Supermassive, but we have to talk about them in a minute, because Goat are crashing onto Narvalo, and this is basically an even match. He's got a building to play around, Blank. We'll see if they're able to do it this time around, see if they can get rid of him. He's locked in, but it's going to be the assist coming on from his enemy team. His opponents are doing the work for him. They step in, and this guy just can't be taken out of the building. You just can't do it. From across the way, Papra Supermassive have to get a little bit naughty, but that was floundering on the approach coming through from Goat.
Oh, I guess he wants to get the elims, but it's so greedy. Are you seeing the team pushing onto you, getting blasted? Like, you miss out on a placement point from the back of that as well. So, yeah, it's a bit annoying. I think he realized that momentarily. I think he just thought to himself, you know what? I'm just going to try and get some elims. Sick of playing as a solo for my own squad. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. For 9ZG, this is a very important game. At 10th place in the lobby. 69 points right now. If they can get themselves a little bit further, get towards the middle of the pack, they do separate themselves away from some of the others chasing. That includes Loops, who are in a lot of danger right now, especially versus OG, who look to move themselves out from the bottom 5.
That is the name of the game. They're stretching out towards the north. Maxman in our chat is highlighting as well that cover flares here are going to be really important, given the flatness of this terrain. He's going to be looking out for any more, well, first of all, any more emergency flare knocks, but also using that cover effectively. So I'm sure we'll get the Maxman breakdown of the D4s littering the battlefield over on the analyst desk, but it has to happen first. That's what we're here for. Goat's trying to go for another crash, another roll up to the pagoda, out in the open. And IC not able to control that, not quite finding the spray down with IQ on that rooftop.
Yeah, I mean, you would have hoped for a little bit more damage there coming through from Inner Circle, but the fact that they've got themselves up towards the top 6 is already quite useful. I think the main two teams to look at here is Go as well as Inner Circle, both chasing for that second and third spot, and it's really not that much of a stretch that they need to go. They might even just find it off the back of placement points here, but this is a fearsome fight between DK, Alter Ego, Go, and Inner Circle for the top 3.
Absolutely is. Although at the moment, Blank, it shouldn't be on their minds about getting into the top 3 now. It should be about maximizing point gain in this match, right? It's great that you can get into top 3, but if you're making a play like, oh, let's just get a couple of points so that we can be in top 3, sure, it's a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling, but you might have given up the opportunity to get 7, 8, 9 points on the game, where that would be a lot more comfortable moving into the future. A hard Northwest shift does assist both of these teams, but unfortunately, Papra Supermassive have started to play the game here, Blank, and now just one player left on Inner Circle.
I think Papra Supermassive done a great job to sustain in this match. Loss will take down Falak. The big man from the squad in the circle now just down to 1 in T24, who has been fantastic when it comes to the shots, but it's not enough versus 4 teams. I think for Inner Circle, for them, they're trying to get up towards the top side of the lobby. Sadly, though, that position was very rough to play versus Papra Supermassive, and they were trying to get shots wherever they could. For GOAT, this is an extremely tough cross, but getting one of their players in Twix down towards the south side is miraculous and also fantastic timing from them, right? They pulled out the stopwatch, clicked it as soon as they heard the fighting happening over on that west side, and sent Twix out. So that anchor is really important. Good shots there from Killer Joe.
Oh, able to do so much damage to OG on the approach in a time where they need the points as much as they can get. 7 elims already on the game blank. Again, it's not all doom and gloom, but in the bottom 5, it's still really, really uncomfortable. GS also fighting to get out of that bottom 5 spot. They are now 1 point behind Loops. They're guaranteed to get up over Loops this game with the placement points that they're already guaranteed. The question is how far? And nades coming through from OG, making it a little bit harder.
It's so cool seeing like a lot of the top teams fighting out for this one, but then again, a lot of the bottom teams with 9Z, who are in a bit of a struggle bus at the start of the day. GS and OG both looking to make it happen. Both teams who have seen improvement over the stage of Group Green. I think GOAT may be done for in the near future, though. They'd have to find a knock over towards 9Z if they wanted to hope in hell of getting out there. But at least getting Twix towards a central position does guarantee them at least like a top 4 here.
I mean, it's on smokes and cover flares. Like, they might be waiting for other teams to move and covering off Twix's angle, right? I think, are they just in this circle? I think they still have just a tiny sliver of it. Papra Supermassive actually take a knock from GOAT. So there's the maybe opener that they were looking for, but it's still so flat against 9ZG. Their approach, as you said, is fraught with danger. I have to try and find something. In the meantime, OG holding the south as well.
For GOAT, the only option here is to wait for the circle to crunch 9Z in, and during that time where it gets a little bit messy for 9Z, where they have to move and back off angles, that's where the rest of GOAT can start to move. But they're gonna send out some craters, but they nade themselves.
Yeah, that's not gonna work out for GOAT. Oh dear. With the placement drives they've got already though, blank, they are in the top 3.
Yeah, they tried to pull it in a circle there. Sadly, a little bit of a bounce off the wall kind of ruins their whole day. That's a bit sad. But again, I still think it's a top 4 with Twix involved. GS trying to get around the side, but it's a nasty nade from Maru. Goes over towards Icon, will take him out. And now ESO looks to find these shots through the window.
Maru steps out wide.
Patient, though.
Good. A really, really nice rotation there, getting through. Loving the ghillie suit on Rondo, by the way. Don't see too much of it. The blossoms looking pretty for Aru. Almost as pretty as his peaks there. 9 elims now and a 4th place guarantee. This is the game that OG needed to jet out of the bottom 5 blank. They want to keep climbing. They want to go as far as possible. Again, it's nice not to be there now, but it's about getting as many points under the belt as humanly possible to set yourself up for safety later on. Because with only 6 matches, including the conclusion of this one to go, it's got to feel good that you're into the top 3. Maybe a 2nd place on the cards if Papra Supermassive can hold it out against 9ZG.
Yeah, I think for OG, it's been really nice. And so far, a lot of these pieces they're going for are covered off by their teammates. And it's looking a lot cleaner on their approach towards these engagements. They're not trying to take fights that they know they're not comfortable in. And they're still keeping up that great macro that we know that they have. It is sad where this is almost an impossible location to push out from. But what I am glad about is that they've tried to make a move. A lot of times in the past, I think OG would have just sat there and waited for the blue to envelop. But they actually went for something, and that's promising to me.
I mean, they saw those flares drop. They knew attention might be distracted, might be a little bit split. That was as good a time as any, but unfortunately did not go their way. Papra Supermassive, they've held this building for so long. 9ZG have been on the outside, but 9ZG are giving it a damn good go here. Nico is knocked. Lost was taken down earlier. Nico on the off angle, very unlikely to be resable there. Kamikaze feels the bounce of a nade of one of the tetrahedra littering the battlefield, and another nade for 9ZG. This is again another campaign to get away from the bottom 5 spots, and that is a brilliant conclusion for 9ZG. Papra Supermassive get a decent chunk of points as well, but they could not leave their compound. They held it strong, but they just weren't allowed out the front door.
I mean, for 9Z, this is a big game for them. They needed it from where they were in the tables. That's more of a survival win for this team than anything. For Papa Supermassive, though, it does send them a little bit further up towards the top of the tables. For OG, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more respectful of some of the teams in the lobby as well. But overall, some promising moments, I would say, from that squad. I'm not going to say too much right now because I need to see more out of that team today if they're going to make it out from that bottom 11. But the journey has begun. The journey has begun.
Absolutely. Some very important matches coming through on the Rondo, and that's what we wanted to see. There was no team blank that got 0 eliminations. Everybody got at least 1, and that's what you want from a Rondo, right? It's pure entertainment value. Getting stuck in with those eliminations. Brilliant stuff. But 9ZG, they close us down for the first chicken dinner.
And 9Z get the chicken dinner off the rip today. Man, this has to feel like such a relief for the squad. They were in 3rd place after day 1, and in day 2 just couldn't get it done. So to finally make it happen here in the final hour is just so huge for this team, Neptura.
It really is. I love how they've played this. Very careful, very consistent across the game. I love in particular how they, like, in maybe phase 4, I think it was, they saw there was a compound in the middle of circles that was open, and you can see just the beeline of rotation going straight to that position and holding it. It's so decisive from them. It shows that they're really thinking about it. They're being proactive, and it's what got them the win in the end, Max.
I mean, there were barely any compound free the moment you spot one that is available. Just like beeline for it. Just like yoink, mine for the rest of the game. And you know what? It worked out great for 9Z Globe. And actually, we do have to say, Niptro, by the way, looking at the stats, great stuff from Milos. He popped off this game. 5 limbs, over 500 damage. He was on fire this match. But 9Z was slipping ever since the first 2 strong games on day 1 for Group Green. They've been invisible. We haven't really seen a much presence from 9Z Globe here from Americas, and it's good to see a little bit of a redemption game here because they were in 10th position, Niptura, meaning a few more bad games, they would be in the bottom 5, which of course would send you home, so good to see a little bit of a redemption arc here on this Rondo game.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that they recognize that this game was so important because you are going to have those teams that are slightly below you on that cusp of the bottom 5 or even the bottom 5. Those teams as well are really going to be trying to step up and try and take as many elims as possible. So it's nice for them that they recognize that and went, hey, actually we have to have a really good, strong game here because otherwise we are going to fall behind. We don't want a repeat of day 2.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's so much to talk about with this match. This Rondo felt completely different from the first 2 in my mind. At least I don't know what you guys think about that one. It started off with Alpha Gaming, though, right? Instead of normally dropping all their players in Yulin, they send 2 to test track. What do you think about that, Max?
I was just seeing someone again get shot while parachuting down. It's been happening a lot on Rondo. I don't know what it is about a trend. But no, this hot drop between the certain Pakistani team I shall not name. Then you have APG, you have Team Secret, you have Falcons. It's hectic. It's all over the place. I love it. More of that, please. Absolute mayhem on the battlegrounds here for Rondo. But it was cool that we saw, especially for that certain team going for a little bit of a backup plan, which is, you know, going for the recalls up northwest. But wait, it didn't work out for them yesterday, Niptura. This time around, they had a game plan, and you know what? They got very far in this game. You love to see it.
Yeah, and I really like here we see that crash. It's such a difficult building. No, it wasn't. Yeah. But I will say I'm impressed how long they survived there, right? Because it's such a hard position to hold. Teams are surrounding you. They did get helped a little bit by that zone because that meant no one was going to push them. They were too busy worrying about their own thing. But OG there, I want to say very quickly, what a third party coming in for them. I loved this, and then they were able to hold out. Oh, wait, the triple.
I didn't see that.
I did not see that.
Whoa. What are those nades, man, coming up from Orangutan? Sorry, I have to jump in there. That's mad respect on the utility game. And we were saying it, right? Hot Tricks Niptura. This is by far, in my opinion, even though it's not a win, this was the best game from India. This was the best game from Orangutan. And finally, given respect that's deserved back to the lobby. They're not being too over-aggressive, going for these weird splits. No, they bunker down, they hold positions together, Niptra. The timing was on point. Is there hope for Orangutan today? Because if we see this caliber of gameplay for these next 5 matches, whoo, OG, this could be a great, great day.
Absolutely. I love how they played this. They played how I was thinking they were going to play, right? They timed the third party onto Wolves and Team Secret really, really well. Then Rejects did a really good push. They tried to threaten that position as well. And OG said, absolutely not. This is ours now. And the quick flip that they were able to do from that third party to defense was really, really nice. And then using other teams' fight to actually use as a distraction to push up themselves. Love what they did with that. So I'm really, really hopeful for the next game.
Oh, man, I'm so stoked for this one as well. Milos getting that 5 eliminations. This man popped off this match. And I'm telling you, OG could not have done that game at a better time, right? Loops, remember, they were that cutoff team. They had 61 points. In this match, they only got 3. So OG are for sure going to be jumping up the leaderboards, right? GS had a good game, though, as well. So it's still going to be a fight at the bottom pretty much all day long here in my eyes, Max.
Yeah, it's just going to be, they're going to cannibalize each other. Just like, we want to leave the bottom 5, please. Actually, they're not even able to make it happen just yet. They're still going to be down there in 13th position. They were in 13th position before this game, but that gap has closed, Niptura. You're 6 points away from possibly being in that middle pack here to go for the last chance. Top 3 out of the question. Last chance, that is your goal, that is your objective here. And Orangutan, 6 more points, which is doable. With the way they were playing this match on Rondo, we need to just see a bit of a follow-up after that great game.
No, we absolutely do, but I just want to point out very quickly, we saw DK say, hey, we're going to be top 3 at the end of the day. They're top 3 game 1. They're now in second place. They've pushed Alter Ego down. GOAT still hold on to their third, but D plus Kia looking good for finals. If they can just hold on for 5 more games, they will have done what they set out to do.
Yeah. I like how GOAT team are the immovable object in this one. They're just D+, jumping 2 ranks. Alter Ego dropping 2 ranks. They're not budging from that 3rd position right now. And Twix, I want to highlight Twix real quick. Yes. This guy was just sent as like the rabid dog of this team. Is just like, you go forward and you just nade everyone. He's like, got you. He's like John Wick in this lobby, and he's getting insanely accurate nades on Papara Supermassive Blaze in particular. This guy was on fire, and you know what? I do wonder if they can maintain a position in the big 3 today, Hot Jukes.
Yeah, you know what? As long as you don't, knock your team by shooting your own vehicles, stuff like that, we can gotta get that stuff fixed. I think for sure we're gonna see them continue at the top. I mean, GOAT have been crushing it here so far. They gotta watch out though. I mean, you got D+ now entering the fray. Alter Ego are gonna step up here when it comes to Aaron Gale, so a huge threat at the top. I do want to talk a little bit more about the bottom, right? In my eyes, Niptura, looking at those leaderboards, I think this is it for Tiamba and Reject. I think if they don't win a game right here, they're not going to make it. Do you think that's correct?
Sadly, I have to agree. Very sadly, with a heavy heart, because Tiamba, we've seen them do so well before. Rejects, I love this team so much. I've followed them for years, but it's just not looking particularly good. We saw a little bit of more of what we expected from Rejects in that Rondo, right? In that last game before their altercation with OG went so terribly bad with the triple nade and all of that. But they were in the top 6, top 7 as a full squad. That's better. That's an improvement from yesterday. So Max, if we can just see that maybe a little bit more, maybe they can scrape into the top 11. I don't know though.
Rejects were like, wait, Orangutan are playing good this game? Got a little bit surprised there. But I think any team in the bottom 5 can still make it, except for Team Secret. I think Team Secret have kind of given up. We're not seeing that glimmer of hope, right, that we saw back in PMWC in Riyadh. Just not quite on that same caliber of gameplay. So Reject, Tiamba, Orangutan, Loops for me can still make it up there. And then you're looking at the teams above that threshold, right, Jukes? GS, Falcons, Wolves, Gen.G, even 90 Globant. I feel like they can still fall down in that bottom 5. So it's still really close. I think it is going to be down for the bottom 5, at least down to that final match where it's going to really decide the fate of these teams.
Well, let's go ahead and take it on over to 7WG with an interview with GOAT.
Welcome to a quick report with the 7WG, and I'm joined by none other than GOAT Team Killer Joe. Honestly, this was a good start for the squad in Rondo, your best performing Rondo so far in Group Green. How important was that for your team?
Obviously, it's important to get 8 points, not 0 for us. It was our best round of this tournament. Hard zone, very hard zone, but we got our points and all.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to continue like this because you guys have been performing quite well. What was the difference between day 1 and day 2 for your squad? Because day 2, you popped off.
Day 2, we will continue day 2, I think, yes, to get more points.
All right. Well, hey, I'm hoping that's going to happen. Best of luck. Back to you guys.
Hey, we heard it from Killer Joe himself. He was talking about, right, how this was a tough zone. Honestly, that whole map was crazy different, right? I think we're definitely seeing teams just realize that, hey, we need 20-point games, right? Just some eliminations ain't gonna cut it. So for at least for what I noticed, Neptura, squads were quick, right? To rather than focus on engagement, get those dominant positions as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah, right. We made note of it. It was like, hey, this round is actually a lot quieter than the first 2 days, and that's exactly why. It's just these teams are hunkering down. They're getting serious now. You know, they're realizing the potential that Rondo has to make points, and rather than focusing all those points on eliminations, they're like, hey, listen, we can hot drop a little bit. We can kind of be a little bit aggressive in the early game, but the focus really is on that end game, focusing on getting those positions instead, Max.
It was not an easy Rondo game. Like, really, everyone was trying to use those emergency cover flares to just survive in this game, right? You know, going on to Erangel. You don't have emergency cover flares? PUBG Mobile Esport, maybe? That could be a great addition, but I'm very excited for the grassy pastures here, Hodrix. It's going to be intense to see who's going to be looking to climb even higher in those rankings.
Well, I know 2 teams for sure. I think it's do or die for Tianba and Reject. Let's go ahead and head on to Erangel and see if they can get it done. John, Blank, you think that they can?
Hey, you know, anything's possible. Why not? Give it a good go. Give it your best. That's what you're here for. At the PMGC, plenty of teams will try and stop you, get in your way, tackle you to the ground, and drag you down with them. You got to rise above. That's what it's all about here. Milta up towards Zaki on the plane path. A little bit difficult to get over towards Primorsk here, Blank, but those vehicles should be fairly accessible.
By the way, John, the correct answer was no. So... Just for future
I was trying to be kind, you know?
reference. I think it's all good being optimistic, and I think it's less good, you know, of a team who has got no chance and tell them that they can get in. I think that there's a possibility of potentially getting out into the last chance, but even then, it's going to require some insane games for that to happen.
Yeah, that's. I think that's fair, right? I think that's definitely starting to get a little bit long in the day for getting all the way up there. We'll have to wait and see if. I mean, miracles can happen. It really can, but it's just not what you expect. On the north side there, I'm looking over and seeing quite a few teams potentially dropping towards North George. With Inner Circle, maybe, yeah, look at a redivert back up towards Zaki. But Blank, it looks like we're on for a military circle here. Get across as fast as you can. High priority, I'm assuming, is going to be put on towards that observatory position, the bridge camp's potential, over towards Novo access. Maybe we'll see some rotations of the gliders coming on through as well. Grab those hovercrafts.
I wanted to see this yesterday. I wanted to see it yesterday, getting it first game of the first Oracle. Yeah, that's good. That's fun. That's fun to see. I think it's absolutely brutal for so many squads, though. This is the type of thing where it's like, oh, on an outside chance, you get a lot of points. Who's the team that benefits from this the most? Alpha Gaming. They're already in bloody #1 spot. They don't need any more points. This is very frustrating. For Reject, potentially they're able to get across the water quickly, play towards the houses on the beachhead, play those compounds there. But again, it's tough. A lot of the teams that are going to benefit from this are already in a strong position. And it funnily enough, is the 2 teams we highlighted before, in Tiamba as well as Reject, who are around south of Milta and south of Farm. So, you know what? Maybe last chance is on the cards. Maybe it is. Maybe I was wrong.
Give it a good go. Let's go. Come on. You can do it. Still 21 points. Ooh. bit nasty. The question is, how fast do they move, right? Because Falcons, they are moving very quick right now, but they are in one vehicle, Blank, and I always hate to see that, especially when they're going to be rolling past GOAT. It is going to be a difficult bridge crossing for them. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it here. Depends how close GOAT stop. They might try and go further on into the island, and I wouldn't be too surprised at that. They know that there's going to be so much fighting around that bridge. They can play a little bit deeper in and wait to pick up the pieces from it. They're playing the longer game here, and in a third-place spot, that's what you want to be looking for. Unfortunately, though, for them, Alter Ego have already managed to find first blood. Papra Supermassive losing one of their players over towards Milta Power on the east side.
I'll tell you, one thing that D+ is very good at is getting to weird zones very quickly and then holding them from there onwards. Loops is in their way and they will be passing through side by side. It is a weird situation where for Loops as well as D+, there is a consideration to be made here where as you're rotating, you see another team and you just don't take shots. You prioritize getting into the circle and finding a position. I think that's actually the smarter move to take in an international. I think D+ and Loops have both committed to that.
That's a little roll up there, as we saw from Falcons. They're still in their one vehicle, Blank. The thing I didn't take into account, though, to be fair, is that GOAT will not have had time to loot that much, right? So they're not going to be super prepared to go for that hold. It's not like you're coming in a minute, in 2 minutes' time. And fair enough. So maybe the one vehicle rotate was necessary to just get them across, and they'll be able to grab a couple more vehicles, especially after taking down a player from GOAT who was lagging behind a little bit, and they'll be onto the south side. So as much as I hate to see it, I feel like maybe the one vehicle rotate could have been the right call in that exact, very specific scenario, and no others ever. Papra Supermassive, though, after taking the fight in Milta, going for a swim, taking a dip, got their swimming trunks on.
Yeah, that's it. That's a long swim as well. And with Tiamba holding Novo, I think that was a pretty obvious hold as well. Oh my god. Of Doran. With the iron sights at that range is something else.
That is pretty special, for sure. I mean, you just always love to see it. You love being surprised like that. Every single time, even though you kind of expect it from teams at this caliber, it's always pretty on the screen. Wolves moving in. Trying to hunt down Claws. He's hiding behind the rocks. He's having a good time by the ocean. Actually, he's not having a good time. He's having a pretty terrible time, but might be a little bit safer than he once was, because all four of the Wolves are here, and they are playing hide and seek. It's sardines right now, and Claws desperately doesn't want to be found. As we have a little replay as well. This was when Papra Supermassive lost their player. Claws with the fight around the corner. Yeah, no, it's never happening. Not in a million years.
I appreciate the restraint from Papra Supermassive there. It was like, I want to slam the desk. I'm not going to slam the desk. Fair play to him. But yeah, that's rough. Definitely rough. Definitely a classic, though, from D+. Getting towards this zone nice and easy. I think I respect Loops and D+ a lot more after that push. I think you might have seen... Oh, Reefus. You might have seen it in a regional tournament, you know, the Loops stop short and trying to hold out D+, but I think in international, it's a very smart maneuver from both those teams. Just shake hands and be like, well, you know, we could either make this very difficult on both of us, or we both just look for separate areas to go. And even D+ respected it. They saw that Loops wrapped down towards the south side, so they thought, well, we'll wrap over towards the north. In those few scenarios, it is sometimes nice to, you know, make a friend on your journeys.
No friendly attic for GOAT, though, as they have more of Falcons to deal with. Ooh, Dolfalo giving me a scare there. Redox goes down on the first peak, and with two pump actions, not peaking at the same time, did not quite work out for them. But they'll be able to get that res. And another player for GOAT falls. This is all good news for Alter Ego. I wonder what vehicles they're in right now, Blank, because they are all the way over towards Milta Power still. Hopefully they've got a hovercraft at best, maybe a boat at second best. Could it be a glider time yet again? As teams are starting to compound now onto the military island, DK are taking that northern side, that north and eastern side, rather, of the military base itself, moving up into the hills. Observatory is found by Loops, and Tiamba are in the foothills over towards Novo.
And there is one boat there for Alter Ego, which could take the entirety of Alter Ego across. Quite a few of these locations are cut out, though. I think for Alter Ego, it's likely going to be a heavy, wide swing towards the west of the island. But decent sprays from Coops. Decent sprays from Coops as in a circle to estimate their way across. But again, I think for Alter Ego, I don't think they'll know to make this wide swing to the western side. I think they'd imagine that a lot of the west here is taken up by players. I didn't mention it very much there, but I am very surprised that Inner Circle just like fly past Wolves.
Yeah, I was thinking that the whole time.
Yeah.
It's got a knock though. It's yeah, Inner Circle do lose one, but yeah, you're right. How have Wolves let that happen? They overcommit maybe to finding that solo.
Phew, Wolves though, you're just like, well, now our life's a little bit more difficult. There's a lot of teams down here. Now we're kind of one of the last to enter.
Yeah. Actually, they didn't even get the flush onto the Inner Circle player. That was picked up and put in a vehicle very quickly. I thought that was knocked on the bridge, but seemed like it was a little bit safer than I thought.
Yeah, basically horrendous for Wolves, honestly.
Why have they done that? Coops, why would you do this?
Why would you do this, Coops?
Oh, dear.
Alpha Gaming, though, I think I'm a little less impressed. I mean, losing a player to D+ that early is a little bit sad, especially being the team that plays Sosnovka as well. And for Alpha Gaming, they're now down to just 3 players. I think Refus is actually a pretty critical component of the team as well, in terms of finding those picks. I think he does enable the team to be so successful at times. I did about 4 more C's in that successful than was necessary as well.
That's an interesting approach here. Alter Ego, taking a leaf out of the Alpha 7 playbook. Take it to the skies. And I mean, on the east side, it kind of looked a little bit occupied, but it was Papra Supermassive who they scrapped with earlier, right? And they're very, very split. The landing actually fairly smooth, but Rosemary, I mean, he's taking damage from somewhere. I think that might be in the blue zone earlier on, but has 5 bandages, a stim ticking him up as well.
Did you miss Alva just falling out the plane?
I think I did, actually. Blank, I was looking at the map feed. That happened? Oh, dear.
Yes.
That's really, really bad. Rosemary, what are you doing? Figure it out.
Well, I don't think it's Rosemary's fault. I think that Alva just ejected in some failed James Bond movie. So, not really sure what he did there. That should tack. So it doesn't tack any damage at all. But it doesn't matter. The M249 will do the trick. So, a pretty unfortunate entry, which looked so smooth, right?
Yeah, they sort of stumbled repeatedly on several hurdles. I missed Alva falling out the plane. I definitely will need to get a replay on that because that sounds like comedy gold. But Papra Supermassive able to find players back on it. Okay, there we go.
Shot.
Maybe he got knocked out of the plane here by Kamikaze. Okay,
He did.
That's so much more fair.
Well, he did get ejected, but he didn't press the button. Ow! Ow, ow, ow. That's a painful circle for a lot of squads. Heads back up towards the North Island. Oh, my days. No, Orangutan. No, you do want to play on the south side. You do want to play on the south side. Please, OG.
Oh, no. Oh,
OG,
no.
please.
This is the reject game, though, Blank. It's now or never, right? They need it. At this very moment, Team Secret completely out of it. They're in the blue zone somewhere. I don't even know where they are right now. I believe they dropped up towards Georgopol, so probably still yet to come in from the blue zone. Everybody now crunching in onto these hills. You can see Reject regrouping, but keeping a 2-2 split here. Maybe looking to further regroup and leaving some out to a little bit closer to the coastline. No, they are further inland and playing the buildings. Tiamba as well on that east side, having a good time. OG, listen to your pleas, Blank. And they do send down south over that bridge. They are not going to be playing across the water. As tempting as it might be, it's not going to be there.
Yeah, they were going to play Sharkfin, which very much an outside chance and survival. But I imagine Ari's just like, look, we're done with that type of playstyle. All right, we're done with playing on the outside of the zone. Let's try and get something here. I mean, they're so close to breaking out into last chance. I'm so glad that they turned around. No matter what happens to them now, I respect the decision.
Goat with 2 players that they got remaining, fending off against GS around the corner. No shots found for GS. The door frame lit up there on the corner, but it will finally be a knock found. Unfortunately, though, there's no one else to try and jump on in. This should be resible here for Killer Joe as he spots Jafar out in the buggy, out in the open, and he gets the spray down. Beautiful stuff as Goat now up to 3 elims. They are desperately defending that 3rd place spot, and now trying to stop Alter Ego from getting on in because they've only got Krypton, I believe. Oh, Snape is still alive as well on that southeast side, but just no HP to be seen.
Tiamba and Reject, 2 teams that sort of don't really want to fight one another right now. Both have hovercrafts as well. It's a very similar strategy seen from both the squads here. But yeah, really nasty circle for everyone involved. Cuts out so much landmass. I think it's one of the few times where there is actually less playable area on the map than unplayable. It's so tough on this one.
Oh, that's where they are.
Where are they?
This is west side of Sosnovka.
Yeah, so they must be... They're very far away.
They're gonna die. They're gonna die in the blue.
There's a lot of distance to go there for Team Secret. Somewhat confusing.
It's not like you can exactly stop off and heal for a second, is it? In the glider.
No. Okay, I mean, for Reject, honestly, that rotate from farm down towards the south side to play those buildings, like I said, on the beachhead, works out fantastically well for them. I just want to see a little bit of a regroup here and then hold those angles, because this is a perfect way to finish out your game. I'm sorry, Reject, I should have never have doubted you. That's my bad.
They are really holding this one out. Gen G now eliminated. So another team quite close to that boundary. I say quite close. They are at 83 points and 11th place is 66. But with GS going down, that's good news for Loops, for OG, to try and keep this one going. And on an outside chance for Reject, they've got Hovercraft as well, Blank. So some nice tanky cover that they can maneuver around wherever they see fit. And a lot of teams are just trying to send over their way. Alter Ego, the last player standing, trying to chase on down. 9Z clashing with Papra Supermassive on the outside, and they have got nothing in the face of Papra Supermassive. Nico's not there, but they don't need him. They got all the other boys, and now Reject want a piece of this. Reiji scouting out Divine Nades over the top. If they can win this out, this is a huge pickup to be able to clear so much territory, but they're falling back. They don't want to overexpose.
I don't really think you can say Papra Supermassive really clashed with 9Z there. They look more like my pizza from last night as they sliced them halfway 8 times. That was bad. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Alter Ego, though, nice little Molotov. Unfortunately, Krypton basically has no HP to speak with. Less than 5% here. He is struggling. The Wolves, though, still continuing here. I mean, they've definitely been persistent in their journey. The more I watch Wolves, the more I think to myself that they're a team that makes mistakes. And that is the problem. You know, I think they're a good team, but there's a lot of mistakes that are made during the play. I think if they can shore up some of those holes in the ship, then they'd be fine. They'd be a really, really strong squad. But there's just these moments where it's carelessness that really comes back to bite them.
Yeah.
But they've been playing much better today. I'll say that now.
Here's God, challenge, and Bond is able to win that out. That's the last player now standing for OG. They tried to approach from this east side, but Tiamba were on the hold. It looks like they were doing pretty well. They're not going to be pushed through either. D+ actually moving immediately ahead of this one. You said they get these weird rotates sometimes. This is a brilliant heads-up decision made by D+ Kia here to actually get ahead of Tiamba whilst they're in that fight. Alter Ego eliminated as well. That is a little bit of relief for GOAT, but they've still got Papra Supermassive and Inner Circle to worry about chasing them down.
In my mind, there's a world where D+ is first place at the end of this. I'm not even joking at this point in time. Okay, I'm not even joking. I do feel like it's coming. It's so weird with the South Korean squads because I think day one is always terrible. Day one is always terrible for South Korean squads. And they're like, we get it. I think we understand the circle. And then suddenly they start playing out of their minds. It's just so strange to me that day one's always just like a bit more of an observer day for them.
Oh, well, we'll see. what they can do. Moving in, the Wolves having a little bit of a clash. The perpetually 6th place team, it seems, like you said, they do make those mistakes and need to step it up. We'll see if they could do that against Papra Supermassive. The little wide wrap around the edge, and that is the go signal immediately. Stepping forwards, and Papra Supermassive down in 10th place. A lot of damage, though, sent back over towards the Wolves. That's coming through from Inner Circle. Defending 6th place from them. Not even allowed up to there.
Yeah, I think for Wolves, that losing one player is not too bad, but it's a very clean fight between them and Papra Supermassive. Very nice. I think Coops is doing his absolute best to make this work. And the one thing that worries about the Wolves is that there looks to be a little bit of contention in the team at the moment, especially when you watch them on the stage. There is a back and forth. Though I do prefer for teams to be open, and especially North American teams that can be very loud, but you know, when everything's said and done, they are still very friendly with one another. But if you want to make it towards the end, you've got to let your opinions be known here. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned about there is that you know, you're fostering a little bit of this not so favorable attitude in the team. So for the Wolves, I hope they can keep their heads clear today, because there is the possibility for them. There really is. They just need one big game. That's all they need, and then they're in the running.
Tiamba trying to move forwards. D+ not allowing them that opportunity. D+ keeping things going. I mean, a little bit of revitalization. That first day, not great, but day 2, a lot better for them. They looked really cool on the stage as well, very calm, even when they were finding those chicken dinners. And now it's like they're trying to convert. It seems like on the north side, they have a very solid chance. Ocel's not out in the water there on that position. Don't worry. The minimap just a little bit offset. He is on dry land. He's got dry boots for the time being. But it's all, I feel like, for me, it is still Reject that I'm looking at here. If they can jump up, and maybe as a second storyline, Falcons, if they're going to be able to actually do more than stay alive with a solo and rely on Narvalo for points.
Yeah, I mean, that's not great, is it? You know, having to basically send out Narvalo like some kind of Pokemon in the end game. Narvalo, I choose you.
Max side just had Pokemon. I was like, what?
Yeah. I mean, that's his special move, right? That's what he gets. 6 points.
Narvalo uses 6 points. It was super effective. Loops. Ooh, they are trying to find the shots and seemingly getting through, but not unscathed. Finding the crash successfully onto this corner. Goat now down to 1 player alive. 3rd place in his hands, although it's a bit safer for now. As we hop back over to this east side. D+ moving in with a solidly timed rotate. Still ahead of Tiamba, but Chips has spotted that's Loops from the south, actually opening the door for Tiamba to maybe to skirt around the edge.
There's some tough shots for top right now. Extremely long distance, but definitely making life hard for Tiamba on the very outer edge of the map. This could easily be a Wolves win. It could easily be a Reject win. Playing around this hilltop here, you can get a lot done for the Wolves. I think the unfortunate thing for them is that they're playing as 3, which makes this a lot more difficult. But I've seen a 3-man win from this spot in the past. It is possible, but you have to be everywhere all at once. And that wasn't on an international stage either. So we'll see how Wolves do want to play this one out. Still 9 teams remaining at almost 22 minutes into the match. It's all these undulating hilltops which allow multiple teams to remain in this lobby for so long.
I'm waiting for Inner Circle's decision here and seeing what they could do as to whether the Wolves are going to have a good time or not. APG actually trying to send off to the hilltop first and not wasting any time, but immediately they're above. There go Inner Circle as well. Wolves take shots out that way.
You're crazy.
In they careen. Doran straight on top of it as well. Looks for the fight. Falak not going to allow him any entry. No quarter given, but T24 is the price they pay. The rest of Wolves, though, on the back lines will not be able to find the angle to go for the flush. Noki stepping forwards, burning Batten out of position. IQ humbled slightly on that peak, but will be able to get some healing done as the reses start to come through. This is Inner Circle's time to turn it around, but Batten again layering down these nades. A response from Falak keeps his team safe. Time and time again, he's coming in clutch, and this is no different.
You guys are very slow on the uptake here. finally moves a position. It's a long nade. Will get a lot of damage done, but he needs more than just that. And Falak once again with another strong shot will step up, takes him down, and that will be in a circle as 4. This spot is really nice to hold, and teams desire it. As we just saw from 2 squads trying to go for it. I understand what Wolves are trying to do is play the split down towards the west side, but you absolutely have to play as a 3-man in this ditch and just give up the angle.
Ooh, what a nasty little roll up here for D plus Nolbu on the ridgeline in the smoke for the big nade. Does so much damage to them. There is an answer, but Nolbu still has got all of the solutions for them, and it's IC getting rolled down. Nolbu! Oh my goodness me, what a play coming through from Nolbu on D+. That hilltop is not safe for anyone, and how on earth do you find that? Nolbu standing head and shoulders over the lobby. A madman, magnificent, resplendent, glorious.
And then they're still even taking shots towards Rejects. Rejects are going Delsaris down. Divine's knock, chips with a long-range angle as per usual. Nolbu might even smile after this game. We may get treated to the rare Nolbu grin.
Oh dear. All toothsome and tricky. As Reject cut down to size, the Falcons are still here, Blank, and they do have 3. They do have this hilltop. I feel like if I was a betting man, I would put money on Falcons. But unfortunately, I'm not. So it's staying in my pocket right now. Well, yeah, actually, you know what? You know what? Actually, after what we just saw, it's all on Nolbu, baby. Let's go.
Oh my days. It's so unreal. Oh, it just takes a little bit of a warm-up for South Korea, apparently. That's all it is. Dear me. I wish we saw more international tournaments with the South Korean squads. They are so damn good. And it does just take a little while. But they learn so much from these lobbies as well. And they get a bit of a reset through the year. And they come back stronger than ever.
I mean, talk about shirking the day one blues. They were cloaked in glory in London last year. And now it's all a flourish for D+. Nolbu with 6 elims. This really is the man of the hour. He's got MVP of this game on lockdown right now. They've got 11 nades, Blank, and 6 smokes. They are in a pretty solid spot in terms of utility. And the circle not really putting too much pressure on them right now. It's up to Reject's duo to move, and it's likely they go south, over towards the Falcons angle, a little bit closer.
Well, with P90, it's a pretty slow game though right now from everyone involved. What makes sense for D+, considering they got 2. 2v3 is not out of the question, just requires to get that first knock on board, and honestly, so far, they haven't been majorly impressed with the gunfights coming through from the Falcons. This game looks a lot better though. I think that despite everything, and this is more praise, but for a singular player in Narvalo, is that I think that Falcons, I've got to be really proud of this guy because he is doing such an unbelievable amount of work for the team, and also over many years of play. Narvalo has been insane. I think over the past maybe year or so, he has been returning to his full form, to his final form at least, because I think back in the day he was insane. He had a little bit of a drop off, but I think he has a lot more hunger for the game again now.
Oh, it's lovely to see. He's not smiling right now, but you can be sure that that blood is pumping. You don't pull off a play like that and not feel it a little bit. Hopefully the adrenaline drop off here in stage 8 isn't going to be too bad for him. Got to keep the focus. Drop of the smoke train. Knows that Reject have moved up, and he's using that smoke train just to get over this ridgeline. Knows he would be exposed otherwise. And
big thing
take
for
a single team approach.
Big thing for D+ here is that they got a massive resupply. Right? There were so many teams that fell down that ditch. So you have all the nades that you could ever want. You've got all the smokes you could ever want. You can see here that Falcons actually has less nades on 4 players than D+ have on 2.
There's more in the boxes as well. that sit around them, right? Even if they throw them out, doesn't mean they've only got 11 to play with. It's just a question of what they could fit in their backpacks right now. D+ moving in. Chips scouting around, still having vehicles here is pretty powerful stuff. The Falcon smoke has been thrown on out. Reject looking to hop into the buggy. Koa still watching this run out. Reiji not going to use the buggy. It's a little bit low on HP. And actually, how has he just done that? Okay. Oh, no blue down. Okay, maybe that's go time. Falcons, move in. Get something done. Try and take some presence. Redox, nade over the top. Chips, drop in the smokes. They've got so many to play with. Now's the time to use them. That nade looks good. The bounce is on. It's just short. Doesn't quite tag the flush. Just behind the vehicle. Nades are coming at them from both angles. They get the res, but it's immediately re-knocked. Chips needs to get out of there. Needs to get out of there now. Nolbu, he's going to be taken away. And everybody's descending. The Falcons rolling over the hilltop. Maybe D+ are down, but the nades are hitting Reject as well. Chips is clocked. And it's D+ down in third. Apollo against 3. And Falcons are able to find a chicken dinner. The main story, though, Blank, was Nolbu that game. A pretty decent chicken dinner for Falcons, all things considered. They played that south side well. My money gets returned to me, Blank.
It does.
Goodness me. It's, I mean, it really was that north side hill and Nolbu, the headline. A magnificent play coming through from the South Koreans.
Yeah, incredible stuff, honestly. I think for the Falcons, you're very, very happy with the way that one played out, and it does see them a lot safer in this tournament too. But I think the Falcons, it's just nice seeing 3 of them towards that end game. Also, not an easy rotate, and I think Ralph has definitely spoken before about how those early to mid-game rotates are quite difficult for them. This time, I think they identified some very strong portions of the map. They played it well, and as a 3, we can see they can still succeed. They can succeed as a 4-man as well. But for Nolbu, a warrior soul from Seoul in South Korea. Incredible stuff. Just cannot wait to see what the guys have to say about that.
And the Falcons get their first chicken dinner here for Group Green, and it couldn't have been a better time. And I'll tell you what, it was on a toxic military hardship to the north. These guys got to be feeling so great here, Max.
You could see when the circle popped on phase 1, all the teams being, okay, I guess we'll have to rotate early across the bridge. But Falcons here really want to highlight, sure, they didn't do too much rotationally speaking, right? They were just kind of idle a big portion of this game. But this is why you hold on to your bloody utility until the last circle. Yes. Because you can just use it and just bully teams. And Redox uses that buggy perfectly to get that elimination. But you just bully teams, and those nades were so pinpoint accurate, Niptura. The D+ and Reject couldn't do anything but get pushed against the blue even further. That was such a good use of utility for Falcons, and finally, we are seeing a Falcons win, hopefully the first of many.
It's about time to see them at the beginning of the match go all in one vehicle, which is questionable, to winning the whole thing. I love seeing that arc coming in from Falcons. And to go back to your point, yes, the utilities were amazing. They were pinpoint. They were great. But it was backed up with the timing of a lifetime. As soon as they saw that Elim feed light up with D+ Kia, they went, now is our time. Let's go. Nades at the ready. Just immense pressure onto both of those teams. They could do nothing about it, Max.
Yeah, it was a tough one, definitely, for sure at the end. But yeah, you said it, the timing was on point to go through the replays here of this game. But you know what? We're talking about Falcons a lot here, Niptura. We need to... that was the 4-man car rotation. We need to talk about D+'s timing. This game, those Eastern fights, they would just pick and choose what they wanted to do, how they wanted to execute it, when they wanted to execute it. D+, man, after day 1, there was a bad day. They've been on an absolute killing spree, and once again doing it today on this Erangel match.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that. I love seeing that so much. And what I love about that as well, Jukes, right, is like, the team, they not only decided when they were going to do stuff, they also decided when other teams were going to do stuff, right? Rejects tried to push up on them, and they went, no, now's not your time. We say no, go back to your compound. No, not allowed. And that's exactly how it happened. So that control of teams is just great from them.
I mean, they showed us why they are your previous champions here. They didn't mess around in this match for sure. We saw that push from IC onto the Wolves. By the way, Wolves, I think they could have had this match if they would have played it a little bit more aggressive once they got that position rather than playing it passive. But no, IC pushed on them. Once they heard that fight ring out, we saw DK, do a beautiful wrap. And oh my gosh, that knock from Nobu was ridiculous. But yeah, let's see these rotations here, Max, man, from a beautiful military circle. These are some of my favorite to watch.
Yeah, and you're going to be seeing Falcons and Reject just like, okay, phase one circle, military, just cross very early on, and you don't have to do too much movement. Even though Falcons did hug that southern coastal line for a big portion of this game, they do eventually center up very, very rapidly. But I want you to pay attention to D+. They were pretty center on phase one going into phase two. And then they're like, we don't really want to be center of the circle here because there's going to be a lot of attention thrown our way, so we're just going to hug the eastern side instead. And by doing so, they open up opportunities for them to look at fights break out, and third party, or in this case, what we just saw here, they leapfrog the fight of, I believe it was Orangutan versus Chamba Niptura. And those leapfrogs and third parties and the timing of those fights were paramount for them to get into the late game and have an opportunity to get on that podium finish. D+ here, showing some S+ tier gameplay in my opinion.
Yeah, really, really did. I love seeing that from them. That leapfrog against Tiamba was just insane. Again, the timing coming through from them is really, really nice. And it is going to be reflected in the points, right? Tiamba gets 6 points, but D plus Kia get 10 more. 16 points on the board for them, and Falcons getting 19. Just one shy of that 20-point game they were probably looking for. But hey, 1 point isn't going to be the end of the world this early on in the day. And honestly, it's so, so nice to see them try and step it up in the final day. A little bit too late, but not too late, right? It's late, but not too late. They still have time to make it work for them.
I'm a bit scared for GS team, to be honest, right now. They were currently the cutoff team, right? 12th position. Not seeing too much presence here, and they're going to be slipping, especially when you've seen teams like Reject, Hodrix that are initiating a bit of a comeback, especially on this previous Orangu game. It's not boding well for them, so we'll have to see how that goes. As Novalo, the Frenchie, yes! Woo! MVP of the game, let's go. Now, this is the Novalo that I know and love in these matches.
Oh, man, that's what we've been waiting to see it for sure, right? I mean, we're waiting for that Team Falcons win. I'm so happy they got it now. And honestly, I'm going to say this, right? I think that they realized, they had to have known that it was D+ on that hill, for sure. And once they saw that knock, I like that both teams were like, no. This is the team we got to take out right here, right? Let's go ahead and make sure that we need these points so bad. And man, do the Falcons get it. They had 68 points before this match. That jumps them up to 8th place with 90. But you are right, Max Bad. Look at all the way at the bottom right there. GS, right, weren't able to put up any points. 66 in total. It's looking pretty dangerous. Well, they put up a few points, right? They put up a few, but not enough.
It's not enough for right now. Currently, they're going to be 8 points behind Loops without a single chicken dinner, so kind of rough for GS team, though. It did impress quite a bit. I was enjoying some of the plays from Jafar in particular during the Gauntlet stage. They've not been able to replicate that to a similar extent so far in Group Green, though. Reject, they started off the day, they're at 38 points, right, Niptura? Here, jumping up to 51. They are 8-1. 2 good games. They could possibly put in the middle of the rankings where they could move on into the last chance. So Reject, we need to see this kind of momentum build up for the rest of the day.
We need to see a win.
If they falter here, there might just not be enough games for them to make that comeback happen.
They need to win. I'm going to say it up 100%. Okay. Like right here, right now, or it's done in my eyes. Snap, what do you think?
Yeah, I could see them definitely going at least for a top 3 podium finish, like a really strong game, maybe just shy of a win, but hopefully a win in the Miramars. I think they're going to use these Orangles to really just build that on that momentum. One thing I do want to point out in these leaderboards is IC making a comeback, right? 4th place, 103 points on the board for them. They're getting pretty close, and they actually had a really good game that game, right? Trying to push up onto the Wolves. They did get that push done well. D+ were actually a little bit late on their third party, but they were just able to just back it up with immense firepower. But honestly, for me, I see continuing to have a good day today.
I don't know that team name. There's a team called that? I don't know who that is. I will not talk about them. I don't know who that is. Looking at the top 4 players of this game, we do have Novalo, Fallo, Regio Seal, and then notable that, in my opinion, would normally be the MVP. The MVP has to be on the winning team, but I think that if we took it purely based on stats, it would have to be Noble because, oh my goodness, Niptura, this guy, I don't know what happened to him this game in particular, but he was a demon. And he would see you, you would not even survive 5 seconds. You were done. You're out.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He just decided who lived and who went back to the lobby. He was like, no, you're not allowed. You're not a threat right now. I'll deal with you later. And he was just going through the rest of the lobby so methodically. Really love to see that. And hey, you know what? Regiosio, first time we're seeing a Rejects player on this board. And it's nice to see him second place, 5 eliminations, putting in that work, putting on those points.
Yep, and like I said, they needed them because looking at the difference, right? So in the last game, we saw Loops. They were at the cutoff with 61 points, okay? And RC had 38, all right? So that difference right there is a total of 23, okay? Now Loops have 74, and RC have 51. You know what that is a difference of? 23, right? So they have not progressed at all. Right, in order to make it into the last chance stage. So I'm gonna say it again. It's chicken dinner time. I think they extended it to one more game, but at least in my eyes, this is the last one for me. What do you think, Max? You think they have another one? Do you really think so?
I think there's still another one. I would say, you know what? Yes, they still have one more, mid-game that could happen for them, but after that, it's going to be game over. Halfway point of today, we need to see something come out from these guys.
Ooh, that's bold. That's bold, Neptura. What do you think?
I think that, yeah, I agree honestly with Max that they have a little bit of extra time, but they don't have much.
Well, let's go ahead and take it on over to the stage with 7WG with Falcons and Narvalo.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. I'm joined by Narvalo from Team Falcons. Narvalo, great quick rotation from Pochinki to military. And honestly, I want to talk about your gameplay because I feel like your gameplay has improved from day one to now the final day. What have you been doing the past 2 days to make sure you can actually perform here on the final day?
I think for this game, like, it was a call, the print path was north, and we said if it's military, we should be first to reach like the island. So it was a call to go quick and go on the left side, no block, as we kind of studied. And then I think we move way faster and with better position. We take better position first and second zone, and that brings us better end games.
You definitely did. Now you're currently, I believe, 17 points away from the top 3. Do you honestly think you can make it to top 3?
Before the game, we could think it's too far, but after this game, we did, I think, more than 17 points. So like, if we just need like 1 more 2 other games like that, and we should be close to the top 3.
Well, Team Falcons, the confidence is back. Let's see if they can make it to top 3. Back to y'all.
Let's go, man. You know what? I totally agree. I think Falcons are absolutely in that range for top 3. I think could be a big game for them here. I think they could definitely handle a mid-game, but it's going to be a chicken dinner coming up from some of them. As a matter of fact, I'll go down to even Gen G. What do you think about that, Max?
Ah, mais je crois que c'est possible que... Oh, wait, I went French mode. French accent. Put me in the French mood. Sorry about that. But no, for them, it could definitely be possible for Gen G. I mean, we saw what they could do in Miramar, right? They got themselves a Rondo also yesterday. Very good game over there. But Miramar is the map that stands out the most to me when it comes to Gen G. But Wrangle, if there's any map that we want to see more from Gen G right now, it would be this map. It would be the grass pastures.
Yeah, it would be. It's what we need to see, especially because, they need the points. They need the points, and they need to go quick because those teams at the bottom, they're still pushing, still going. So honestly, it's not so much a wrangle. I think for me, it's like match 3, done deal, needs to be done now.
Let's see if they can do it right now. The last Aaron Gale of the day. Let's take it on over to our casters, John and Blake.
I think... Am I going... We've got one more, right? After this? We've got one more, Aaron Gale. We've got 2 more to play, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Match 16 will also be on Aragol, so don't go getting ahead of yourself there, Dukes. I know you want to see who's qualified, but we are going to have to play all of the matches here. Sosovka Military Base over towards Stalba. It's only fitting we start the play from down here, where our last match ended, sending straight over the top of good memories. Well, quite a lot of good memories for Nolvu and the Falcons, and going over towards that Stalba position on the northeast side.
Yeah, it's a bit of an Eastern playing map here, so it's slightly more difficult. It's actually getting tough for me to talk about these games at the moment because there is so much happening, and there's so much to analyze. There's so much to go over. It's pretty tough for me. I mean, for Wolves there in that last game, I really wanted to talk about their position a little bit more, just because it is a case of, as that 3-man, you no longer have the power to split off like that, and you sort of have to suffer a little bit where you don't have that angle off towards the western side to watch for approaches, but you have to hold that ditch as a 3-man because it's likely people are going to crash onto you. So this is what I mean by just these small errors in gameplay. Again, hindsight's 2020, and I'm out here of the observing desk.
Oh no!
The double is insane. Maybe I cursed him out. I said I wanted to see it yesterday, give it to us. Oh, fair enough. We'll give you 2 today. Fair play. APG get a nice start. They got immediately over towards Millie Base as we started down there nice and early. The difficulty comes in the fact that this moves away from Millie Base at that plane path. So if this is coming down from Kameshki towards the south, teams that are dropping late could have readjusted on their plane path, on their parachutes down towards military base. In this case, it's really only Gen G and GS who get a decent start off the back of this one. So another game potentially for Reject as well as Tiamba, who both start very close to this location and try and lift themselves out, but it's getting very far ahead of them now. It loops with 74 points for 51 and 50 apiece for Reject as well as Tiamba.
I mean, the major difference on this West Bridge is Gen G being here, right? Goat had a pretty free and clear rotate over last time. If Gen G pull up and cause a fight to start here, Falcons, we saw they wanted to rotate fast early. This is the same circle, the same decision. I don't think too many teams will have had time to fully review what happened there, except for maybe Goat on that rotation. They'll know that Falcons move fast. But if they get stuck down in a fight here, the Falcons are going to crash straight into the back of it. This 3-team traffic jam didn't exist in the last. And GS are holding the East Bridge in the meantime, by the way. We'll see just how sticky this spot can be, because Tiamba moving in. This is on the East Bridge now. There is a roadblock. There is the Caltrop set out. They're looking for the backstop player. They're looking to try and disparage them from getting on forwards. Des has to drop down, though, and that's where the backup needs to come through for Jafar. It's there in spades. Buckets of bullets pouring down on the bridge. And now the off angles are brilliant coming on through. There's finally an answer from Tiamba, but it's too little too late. They've lost the majority of their players. Nobody else is pushing in right now on this East Bridge either, Blank. So no chance that GS get run down by a third party.
I think it's one of the few times where I think that you just like send it. You just send it if you are Tiamba. The initial shots weren't that great from GS. I think Tiamba respects it a little bit too much. They crashed just directly into the wall before they taken barely any damage. I don't know if it was the optimal play there in that instance. Again, it's one of those things where it could have gone either way. Tiamba drops out, they get the first 2 knocks, and then it's easier to play from there. But I think that really hurts Tiamba's chances, and I think they have to take a bit of a gamble on just the straight approach into the zone. Nepturo actually brings up a really good point about Falcons, where if they get another strong game here, potentially is the initial rotations. Now, me and you have been covering PMSL EU for the longest time, John, and we know that the Falcons are some of the slowest to rotate. Because they play Pachinki so much, they already have this central position. I actually think that that position hurts them a lot. It is one of the strongest locations in the map because it is so central, but it's made for this almost stagnant gameplay coming through from Falcons, where they don't make these initial rotates to strong positions. They'd rather play Church on the west side of Pachinki and wait things out if it's a western circle. I think here, because we do go to Sosnovka, it forces Falcons to take risks, to make moves, which they wouldn't necessarily otherwise go for. And they're benefiting from it, which says a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they are now, after that game, very much in with a chance of getting top 3 here as well, Blank, is going to be great news. And they'll love to see a game that they just succeeded on very, very in a very big way, right? Repeat itself, hopefully. But the second circle on last match was also a big factor. It forced a lot of teams to move to the north side of the island after having tried to rotate around, occupying a lot of the area, a lot of the ground around there. So that was a big factor in the dynamic of that last zone, of that last match. We'll see where we're going to go this time around. But at the moment, Falcons on the south coast with Gen G, who went across the bridge very, very early.
So they scout that out, and they're going to peel back off this one. No reason to try and push this. And they've already scouted out a huge amount of space on the western side. Sadly, this is eastern leaning on the circle, so it could be further over towards where Observatory is. Alpha Gaming actually goes for a different maneuver. You know, they'll take Observatory for themselves, try and get that high ground nice and early. I think for Alpha Gaming, it's almost weird where I think that this team will perform even better than they have here over in the grand finals. I think that sometimes there is a sense of boredom that comes through from this team at times where they really do want to get stuck into things. They don't like playing slow. And they are so good at the game. And I think that does create difficulties for them. That's a sad shot. That's a sad shot from the observers. Like looking at the beached buggy from Diamba before they fell down. It's like, I was watching a funeral.
Well, you know, you got to celebrate him somehow, I suppose, whatever you can. Papa Supermassive still embroiled in Milter, though, with Loops, who are able to find Tron B. No answer either. A little bit of damage, but I mean, this should be extricable for Loops. Neither team really wants to stay here for too long, though, Blank. I mean, there is a lot more of the North Island in this circle than in that first match that we saw today on Erangel. So you do have maybe a little bit more time. The circle could also still... it's got maybe like a 10 to 15% chance of going back to the mainland. It's very unlikely, but is technically possible. We'll have to wait and see for that one. So maybe a little bit more time on average they could go for it. And especially with the state of this east side bridge, it's maybe actually safer to stay in Milter for the time being.
Yeah, I think so. It's getting very messy around this region now. Reject actually get there quite early, so because they were moving so quickly, they passed straight by from the northern beachhead. Could come back to bite them. I think they're trying to control as much area as possible. For OG, it's a long rotate for them down towards the south side. Very difficult stuff to make this one happen, but it's certainly possible. I think maybe potentially going for the western bridge might be a slightly better idea if you are late to this. And there are a lot of teams that play over towards the eastern side. With this being Eastern Plane Path 2, that's most likely the locale that teams are going to be passing through. And the inner circle realizes that as well, and they're going to pass over towards the west, which actually cuts out a lot of teams for them they'll have to go up against. It's Papa Supermassive up against Loops. Loops, the most in danger right now, falling down into the bottom 5 at 75 points, just 5 points clear from GS.
Yeah, it's real rough stuff on that 11th place bubble. Obviously, we're playing in with 2 bubbles on this, Blank. If you were looking at the top 3, we were expecting it to be somewhere around 140. That's what we saw from Gauntlets on the same number of matches. It was 141, I think, and 4th place was 140. So very, very close. Could be around